poet Rumi said, somewhere between right and wrong, there is a garden. He said, I'll meet you there. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. There we go. Somewhere between right and wrong is a garden. I will meet you there. For most of us, we cannot even conceive of the possibility that there is a space between right and wrong. We believe in a black or white concept. It's either right or it's wrong. There can be no in between. But I ask, is this the whole truth? Living in a world where everything should be put into a box makes for a sense of security, but it is a security that requires no maintenance and no thought. Ultimately, however, we know that life is just not that simple. For instance, lying is wrong. We say that it's wrong to tell a lie. Telling the truth is what is right. We've got that cut into black and white. There is no in between. Yet, we applaud those who shielded the Jews from Nazis. Often they had to lie in order to preserve life. Were they wrong or were they right? We tend to take this black-white thinking into our relationships as we encounter the issues of the day. The issues political or social, religious, economic, etc. And of course, now we're dealing with social health issues. And we seem to have zero tolerance for an opposing view. However, it is often true that the so-called opposing view is not that at all. Rather, it is just different, a different view. And therein lies the problem. We're not able to accept the fact that different is not necessarily wrong. But that's because we have it cut into black or white. And since I'm right and you're different, you must be wrong. And that's the simple logic, or we call it logic, that we arrive at. And that's just not how it works. Until we allow ourselves the opportunity to fully engage with those who differ from our view, we will never truly understand our own position. Now think about that. If we don't engage opposing or different views, we're not fully going to understand our own position, because those differing views will bring out things that we haven't thought about because of our blind spots, things that we don't consider when we have formed our opinion. So what I'm trying to say is, if you cannot explain why the other person is, quote, wrong from a logical, informed basis, and all you have is just your emotional opinion, you're disagreeing with me and you're wrong, if that's all you can do, then you do not truly understand what it is that you believe. You must be able to articulate what you believe in the face of opposition. Now, I agree, I don't like intense opposition. I'm willing to debate, I'm willing to talk, I'm willing to share with different views, and I'm willing to listen. But as soon as it gets into a heated argument or character assassination of name calling and that kind of stuff, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it. I want to maintain a logical, rational debate is the proper term. But we find ourselves today in the place where it is just emotional opinion. I feel that everybody should wear masks. I feel everybody should stay home. And if somebody comes out and says it's not necessary to stay home, well, we get all bent out of shape. Or if somebody says wearing a mask doesn't do anything, we get all bent out of shape. And to what basis? I can bring you up on Facebook and YouTube, and I can show you doctors who present both sides. They say it's a wise thing, it's not a wise thing. What are we supposed to do? We have no way of knowing reality, but we generally tend to go with those who confirm what we already believe. And that's okay, I'm not saying anything against that, but in that place, we need to be able to articulate what it is that we believe and why. Another thing that's going on today is that there are different generations alive mingling their knowledge, and that's the advantage of social media. It's also the disadvantage. We're mingling our knowledge and oftentimes the lack thereof, but our knowledge has been obtained through various means. There are things the older generation has been taught that either have been expanded upon or have now been disproven, and yet we still believe it. But the same is true for the younger generations. They've been taught things that they believe or disbelieve, but they're basing everything on what they were taught and not expanding their knowledge or awareness. Another problem that I see today is that we no longer respect the wisdom of the elders. We just don't think that the old people have anything to tell us because they were from a different generation. They were before the internet. They were before Facebook, all this sort of thing. But the same thing's been reversed because the elders are not respecting the zeal and the exuberance of the youth, which a lot of times brings up new things, new awareness, new concepts. And as long as we continue to reject each other, we cannot benefit from the other's view or point of view. We're spending too much time criticizing and tearing one another down, and not so much one another, but groups. If you're part of this group that believes that, then, oh my goodness, I don't want anything to do with you. That needs to change. But it's not going to change on any kind of a global scale. That's not going to happen. You are the only one who can change this for yourself. You can stop with the I'm right, you're wrong mentality. Too often that is simply because we still have that place that different is wrong. And since I'm right and you're different, then you must be wrong. It doesn't work that way. Different is different. It's not all the time wrong. I mean, we've all heard the analogy story of the four blind men feeling around the legs of an elephant. They all feel something different. They quote, see something different through their sense of touch. I recently had occasion to, in dealing with two people who were in an argument, I just wrote the number 6 on a piece of paper and I laid it down between them. One person saw a 9 and the other person saw a 6. And both of them were legitimate. Both of them were true for their perspective. Now, that doesn't go to the place where all truth is relative. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that perspective has a lot to do with our beliefs and how we feel about those beliefs. So we need to understand that other people might have a different perspective. They might see it from a different angle, and we would do well to listen. So choose to listen first. Choose to ask questions before you label someone as wrong, ignorant, lame-brained, whatever it is. Asking questions, though, is an extremely difficult skill for those who have an opinion that they think is absolutely right. In other words, if you're already convinced that you're right and you want to try asking questions, you're usually going to ask a question that tries to back the other person into a corner rather than trying to gain information about what it is they believe. It is better, more civilized, if you will, to try to find out why the other person believes what they believe. Have a sit down, talk to them. Refrain, this is the hardest part. This is the hardest part. But if you want peace in your life, to avoid the chaos and the arguments, this must be done. But refrain from giving your opinion until asked. You'd be surprised how many times people absolutely do not care what you think. They're not going to ask you for your opinion. And if you'll wait until you're asked, a lot of conflict will be avoided, plus you'll learn a lot of stuff. Because I promise you, you hardly learn anything when your mouth is flapping. You learn more by listening. Somewhere between right and wrong is a place of peaceful interaction and mutual respect. I will meet you there. Thank you.